In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what was behind the curtain, the face of evil lurking, with their shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple, many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannon could reach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. Hey, I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up up your sword and lances and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised. The battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest and the righteous in your corners.
Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Belfort is, Jordan Ross Belfort is an American entrepreneur, speaker, author. He wrote the book, The Wolf of Wall Street, which was made into a movie. Yes, the movie adaptation in which he was played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, he's a convicted felon. Okay, and those who have seen the movie will know why he's a convicted felon. You know, he played fast and loose and did a lot of wolf-like, or some people call it hyena-like scavenging, perhaps, so some unscrupulous things. But he is known as being a master salesperson. And what we're going to answer today is he actually good? We're going to watch a live sales video of the Wolf of Wall Street in action, and we're going to analyze it, okay? Because after all, we know a thing or two about sales out here, okay? And to do that analysis with us, we have our regular guest on Thursdays. Okay, Aitoa, how's it going?
Yes.
We're back. We're going to touch upon one of the things that we tend to talk about from time to time, the sales thing.
That's right. That's right. It's all about selling.
It's all about selling. It's all about selling. Speaking of selling, make sure you go ahead and click that like button. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that bell button twice. Okay? And Kaizoria is setting a good example, telling everybody, I have liked the stream, he says. Okay, so again, we're going to get into it. What exactly we're trying to analyze today? The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio. For those who have never seen a real picture of him and you just got to think about him as Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, there he is right there. That's the real guy. Okay, that's Jordan Belfort. This is a live sales video that was recorded, and he is, let's just call it banking, because you don't necessarily have to know exactly what he's selling. He is a finance guy, banking guy, and he's selling to a production guy, a business owner who's in the agricultural business. This guy farms, processes the farm products, and then ships them. So this guy has a lot of things to think about when it comes to the whole supply chain, when it comes to the growth of his business, where growth opportunities are, where they may not be. And Jordan Belfort is out here trying to give value to this guy, trying to sell this guy. And we're going to analyze this. A few things that I want to just say before we get started here, okay? Because not all of us that are watching this are sales experts, but we know that when it comes to just keep it down to the level of money, the idea of learning how to sell is almost unanimous, or shall I say, it's highly correlated with making more money, regardless of your field, whether you're a lawyer, the partners, okay, in the law firm. What do you think they do? They're not necessarily the sharpest in the courtroom or have all their legal facts together. No, they know the most people, and they have a certain amount of respect. They have a branding, they have a marketing appeal, and also they can sell. Okay, so whether you are, the point is this: going from a soldier to a general, or going from just a priest to a pope, going from just a regular municipal, county, whatever, to the president, involves learning to sell. That's the difference between them. These people have to sell, they have to communicate, they have to influence, they have to persuade internally and externally, okay? So I say that to say this: there is a structure to this game, and as we play this video, it may seem rambling to you, it may seem crazy to you, but there is a structure to this, and we'll make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that if you do your part, which is listen and like, share, and subscribe, okay, then we will break it all down for you. The Wolf of Wall Street, making a pitch. Let us begin. All right.
Nice to meet you.
Pardon the audio, by the way.
Hey.
Not the best audio.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for taking the meeting.
Thanks for coming in.
Great. Have a good day?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Sorry, I've only got about 20 minutes. But,
what can you tell about the personalities so far already? Okay. And then this is for people in the chat too, because this is a very key thing. When you walk in a room, there are different kinds of people. If you got to persuade a certain kind of person that's eager to talk about their baseball game and coffee with you, or you walk in a room with the type of person whom you know never talks about those kinds of things, there is a different approach that you're going to take, okay, to that influencing and selling. What Jordan has done so far is with that smile and with that having a good day, he has thrown a ball out there. And what do you read from what the other guy has done so far? What's the differences in their personality that you can see?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay,
You,
wait,
yeah.
hold on 1 second. Let me
Okay.
let me play this again, just so we're all clear.
Hey, how are you, Jordan Belfort?
Good, nice.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for taking the meeting.
Thanks for coming in.
First of all, Jordan is a little casual, perhaps
Yes,
maybe
yeah,
too casual.
Yeah, a little too casual.
Perhaps a little too casual in dressing and everything. Okay, this guy is, he's got a business shirt on. He's tucked in, and he's walking very purposefully, sitting down, not saying too many words. Right.
Great. Having a good day?
So far, so good. So
Yeah.
far, so good. Sorry, did this.
Okay, so go ahead. What's your response?
No, I was just
Personality.
gonna say the casual clothing is it's the first thing that struck out to me. And look at his body language, how he's sitting down, and even how he has his feet. He looks like someone that's just about to chill and watch a basketball game or a baseball game or a football game with his buddies. And even the secretary, that lady sitting over there, I think it's just part of the presentation. This says that there's someone that's doing something a little bit more important. She's in the business casual. She looks like she's taking notes. And so I just like the overall presentation. That's the first thing that stood out to me, just how casual he looks. And you can tell that casual look and the way he's sitting down, he already looks a lot more confident than even saying that he is. So his body language is already doing the talking right there.
100%. And as we've mentioned, so it is, whenever you stand out, you're going to need to back it up. In other words, if you come in and everyone is wearing a business suit, but you wear a t-shirt, then you better be the baddest, let's say, musician in that ensemble. Let's say you guys are playing at the LA Philharmonic or something. This guy only wears t-shirt, but hey, he plays the viola like no one in centuries. Okay.
Right.
Or you come in and you're all souped up, decked out, all pimped out. You also have to prove yourself, right?
That's right.
So generally, you want to stay generally in the middle and all that. So what he has done here is, I'm going to go low in terms of my casualness, and I'm going to prove myself. That's the play he has. That's the game. That's the thing he has to overcome, right? So let's see. Let's let him start, and we'll go ahead.
Probably got about 20 minutes.
No
But
problem. I get it.
hopefully
They got 20 minutes. So you can tell the difference between their personalities already. This guy's like, come in here. Okay. So far, so good. So far, so good. When he asked him about his how's your day? Like, so far, so good. So far, so good. We only got about 20 minutes.
Perfect. So real quick, I mean, I guess the way I usually work is I kind of want to know about you, your company, what kind of challenges you're facing right now, what's right in your business, what's wrong in your business. And based on that, what we do here at LMK is we kind of tailor make our strategies to directly suit our clients' needs. We have 3 areas of excellence we focus on. Capital markets, hedging strategies, commodities hedging, finance for your business. B, investment banking, meaning if you're looking to go public, raise any money for specific projects, both foreign and domestic. And lastly, of course, asset management, your land, your trucks, and trying to maximize your value there. But again, that's just broad areas. I look to each client kind of as a unique situation, and we try to kind of tailor that in. So if you had to say one thing right now in your business that was kind of like giving you the most problem, what would it be?
Okay. This is his opening, obviously. What do you think of his opening?
Well, his opening right there, the first thing he's doing, he's establishing himself as someone that wants to know the pain points. Like right away, he picks on he wants the client to do most of the talking, because I think he's using this opportunity to gather information, to prepare. So the first thing you want to do in sales, I want to learn everything about you, because if you notice what he said, because that's what we like to do here. In other words, we want to know everything about you. We want to know what's hurting. We want to know what's not working. We just want to listen to you speak. And as you're speaking, you could, if you look at him, he has a notepad on there and he's not taking notes. That's already pretty cool right there. But I think that what he wants to do right there is he wants to learn a lot more about the customer. And he asks very specific questions. What's going on in your company? What are some of your pain points? What's like, talk to me, right? So that's the very first thing he did.
Oh, good. So he's asking, okay, because this is the kind of finding a situation and a need type a sale here. It's not like this is not the third sales call and he's trying to close, right?
Right.
He's still trying to feel out the situation and the need. Do you think he said too much? In other words, do you remember what he said about his company, what his company does?
What the salesperson? I mean the
Yeah, like
customer.
Jordan Belfort says.
No, he didn't talk much about that. He just said, "Well, what we like to do
Yeah,
here is
but do you remember what he said?
I didn't remember because he just blew
And
right
that,
through it.
that but the thing is, here's what I mean. If you don't remember it, he shouldn't have said it.
Interesting.
Now, I'm being quite critical with this, but I have a very now I have when it comes to natural charm and all those other kinds of things, his personality type is he just oozes with that. If anybody knows
Right.
Jordan Belfort, right? So he's very strong in that. Not gonna even come anywhere close to being that guy.
Right.
Now, I do have a very strict approach towards communication when it comes to influencing and selling, though, which is the fewer the words, the better. He said things about his company, what his company does, and you don't even remember. Why did he say all that then? Right? Why didn't he just come straight in and say, hey, look, man, what are the biggest, the question that he asked at the end, why didn't he, how about if he just said, what would you say is the biggest pain point in your company right now? Forget all that stuff he said, because let me tell you what he said, and then I'll replay it, okay? Because I paid attention. He said that they are KLM, a bank, that they focus on 3 broad areas, which is investment banking, okay, which is you want to raise money and stuff, asset management, and also about capital markets. Let's say, exchanging dollars for yen, just whatever, capital markets. It doesn't have to. So he said all those things that's what they do, but we like to tailor it specifically to the people. But you didn't really remember any of that. So I'm proving a point. I'm making obviously I'm trying to make
we remember the last few lines.
Remember the last few lines because that was the most important thing. So
Exactly.
I say always, and I say don't even say your last name. That's how crazy I am with it. I say come in there and say my name is Ike. Don't say my name is Ike O'Gammon. But the second, you'll be surprised how easy it is for people to lose attention because I think that, anyways, let me not get into preaching now, but I think that he said too much. I'm going to go ahead and replay it, right? And I pay specific attention to it, but he didn't have to say all that. Of course, this low resolution video decides to be the one that
I think while
buffers.
it's loading, I just want to go back to the point you said is, someone wrote in the chat here, you have bad memory. The issue of memory is it's not about having a great memory or not. When you're in a sales situation where there's exchange in the situation, your mind can only pay attention to so much, and it typically remembers the last few things that you said. If I said 949-635-4591, most likely your mind could probably hold on to the 91 because you can easily associate that with 911. So our mind's always looking for association. So he saved the statement that has association with the potential customer because whatever he is, the customer has no association with it. But what are the pain points in your business? Right away, he's like, oh yeah, that 100%. I have some association.
Yeah, because it's about what people think about, what occupies their mind. And what occupies their mind, it's their daughter and practice for school, their wife, or the divorce, and maybe the actual pain points of their business. Not what KLM does, right? His company does. So I get it. As a matter of fact, it took only a few seconds for him to say it. And he said, I do these 3 big things, but we like to tailor it. He actually even cut himself short and say, hey, let me get to this.
Right.
If I were to give him any piece of advice or anyone listening, don't even say don't even say any of that part. He knows you're a bank guy.
Right.
And he actually comes from a big company such that your marketing has already done all that for you. There's no need to come in and say a lot of stuff. I think I recall that I have to, because I was watching this on my cell phone, right? And the same thing was going on where I had to reload it. And I don't know why for this particular video, because I changed the resolution to be low and everything. But I'll do this in the background, right?
Even worse for you because it's perishable.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, but I got to take it back because it's insane. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, there is a structure to this thing. So we've already started to break it down because this is something that we have experience in, right? So we kind of do this stuff, right? So we understand the situation that he's in, and we understand what's going on, and we understand that even you might think that what I said about cutting out the first things was just it doesn't matter. But when you have to do this thing like over and over and over again, you're gonna start seeing patterns.
Right. You'll see what works and what doesn't.
There you go.
We have 3 areas of excellence we focus on. Capital markets, hedging strategies, commodities hedging, finance for your business. B, investment banking, meaning if you're looking to go public, raise any money for specific projects, both foreign and domestic. And lastly, of course, asset management, your land, your trucks, and trying to maximize your value there. But again, that's just broad areas. I look to each client kind of as a unique situation and try to kind of tailor that in. So if you had to say one thing right now in your business that was kind of like giving you the most problem, what would it be? In terms of growth, like, stopping you from growing as fast as you could.
It's probably uncertainty around China. Where
In terms of growth, he asked the problem, and he said in terms of growth. So he's being specific. In terms of growth, I want to get to your growth thing, because likely his deal, what he's trying to get you is growth, right? Everyone's trying to make you more money somehow. So in terms of growth, what's your problem?
Right.
We're a business that's really got its history very much rooted in Australia. We've had some experience in Singapore and Hong Kong.
Right, different markets.
China, China's really unknown to us.
Right.
And that does keep me awake at night a little bit.
In the sense of that, obviously, to fill the demand, you have to kind of grow a certain amount of or produce a certain amount of crop, and then milk, and then you're not sure if they're going to buy or not. So there's an issue of a overproduction versus making sure they're going to buy at the end of the day. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, there's that, and I guess the question of setting up facilities in China. Will we go down that path, or whether we can continue to do it out of Australia? I believe we do need to set up some facilities in China. But that requires capital.
You have nothing there right now at all?
No.
Okay.
What do you think about the quality of his questions so far and the quality of his interaction with the topic?
I think I like how he's guiding the customer. He's guiding the customer to pick a side, and I don't know if we're going to entertain any questions. There's a question right here on that you put on the front, but he's guiding the customer because the customer says, his uncertainty with China, and that's just way too broad. Uncertainty could be: is it a language barrier? Is it a time difference? What exactly? So he just took that and made it into pick a side. Are you worried about, the East Coast or the West Coast? Or are you worried about the gate entry fee? Talk to me, right? I like how he guided the customer back into where he wanted to understand what exactly is your pain point. And I think to some degree, he's utilizing his knowledge, of the China markets, of selling to China, and bringing that in, and then use that to guide the customer into pick a side so I can help you in that pain point.
So he obviously did some homework with regards to certain business structure, right?
That's right.
In terms of, hey, he knows that this guy produces, and then in other words, he grows crops or milk or whatever it may be, and then he processes them, and then he, shall we say, transports them, exports them.
Because he talked about trucks.
Exactly. And so he's like, hey, are you worried about overproduction and having too much inventory? So in there also, he's demonstrating to the guy, look, I understand. And if you can see, the guy was like, yeah, that plus, in other words, he said, yeah, what you said, yes, that thing you said, plus other things. So far he's doing well in this plane where he's trying to understand the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue. By the way, as you come in, click the like button, click the share button, click the subscribe button, hit the bell button twice. We're answering the question, is the Wolf of Wall Street good at selling? We got a live video here. We're analyzing it. Okay, we're two top performing sales professionals ourselves, if I don't mind saying ourselves. But anyways, let's go.
And have you investigated opening up anything at all in China right now, or just really in the early stages of it?
Oh, no, look, it's been something I've been meaning to talk to my banker about. We've kind of discussed around the edges before, but we haven't really talked about it in depth.
Right. Let me ask you a question. I was doing some more research on the industry, and one of the things that stuck out is that, in fact, there's still a massive growth potential for you here domestically in Australia, right? You're really scratching the surface domestically. You have a good market share.
100%, Leroy. This is the fluff and filler position point, okay? At this point, anybody with some base who watched CNBC yesterday can do what Jordan is doing right now, okay? And this is part of the beauty of it, though, is there is a structure to selling, but you don't have to be so much of an expert, okay? He just got to understand trucks, supply, demand. There's a supply chain. People want more money, okay?
That's right. That applies to every business.
Yeah, and then so all this part where you're trying to figure out a situation, okay? This is fluff. Leroy got it perfectly right. You got to be good with fluff, but the fluff has a purpose. What he's trying to do, he's trying to find a pain point or objection or something.
With all
he's
that
like
fluff.
Swimming. He's like, so he doesn't know what this guy wants, what he needs, where is this, who his partners are, what his relationships business-wise are. He doesn't really know. So he's swimming in fluff, trying to find stuff. Good point. That rhymes.
Yeah, but obviously the market's growing here pretty much 15-16% a
Yeah.
year. There's still so you also kind of building the current market share as well.
Absolutely. We've certainly got strong customer relationships here in Australia. I think there's a lot of opportunities for growth here.
Right.
I think we've got a unique opportunity in China because of our accreditation standards, and
Right.
the Chinese are very,
which is not easy to get.
No, I think we might be the only Australian company that has it.
Right.
So, we could go very comfortably just focusing on Australia, and that might be might be the best path. I'm not sure, but the China opportunity just is dangling out there, I guess.
Right. I know. It's kind of like I do, not just obviously in the organics. I mean, pretty much every business is high tech, low tech. And everyone's kind of, China's like this kind of, this 900-pound gorilla in every conversation. And the idea, I think that's the question, the challenge everyone faces. We know we got to go there. There's a massive market there, but how do we get there in a way which is basically risk averse, but allows us to kind of test the waters? And if we hit it,
fluff, just fluff, right? Like, hey, how do you go there in a way where you don't stub your toe, you don't fall down, where we tailor this particular solution directly to your needs, and we make sure that satisfaction is guaranteed.
But if you notice though, one thing that all that fluff, he has a little needle in there. He compliments the customer on them having accreditation, and just takes a breath.
He knows that it's hard to get, and
in other words, he's low key complimenting him on his achievements. So it's a fluff with a little needle there. He says, "Oh, so that must have been hard." So he's acknowledging the pain points that the customer has already overcome, right? So that's brilliant right there.
Yeah, and us kind of emotionally being mammals, we see what's going on here now. So now okay, we're in China generally, and you just told me some of your pain points in a rather candid manner about how you view the China market. Okay, so now he's talking like they're in the living room together.
Right.
No, not so pointed like,
he's breaking down the barriers.
Yeah, everyone wants to go to China, but do you have to do this or do you do that?
The 900-pound gorilla.
Exactly that. Everyone has to think about it. So he's bloviating a little bit now.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of times what he may be doing is to find a way to get to the next point where he's going to do a pitch. Because I can tell you 100%, he didn't just come in here saying, I'm just going to ask him questions to see where it goes. No, that's not what a professional does. He has a pitch, which he's going to repeat 3 times. And by the time we finish this video, I'm going to then, at the end of the video, I'm going to repeat those three times he says a specific thing, and it follows my formula. After he does it the first time, I'll mention my formula. You can go to my playlist on sales where, to kind of replay the videos on sales to see what my formula is, but let's continue.
To kind of expand quickly and capitalize.
Yeah, you're right. And the risk thing for us is really important. I mean, while we've got some ambitious plans, we don't want to take on too much risk.
Right. No, makes sense. And in terms of you, where do you fit in with the company? In terms of what's your what's your kind of division of responsibility?
He's trying to see
you manage the
who's the decision makers,
or how does it work?
Right. Yeah, so I'm a major shareholder of the company, and I manage the operations day to day. So I'm very hands-on.
So he's a major shareholder and he manages operations day to day. So he's an important guy. You can see his eyes, right? You see Jordan's eye. Like,
he's lit.
Okay, all right, you're the guy. Okay, cool.
And I want to just quickly, just a quick comment. I want to just encourage everyone to pay attention to the type of questions he's asking. He's not asking yes or no questions. He didn't say, "Are you the boss?"
Open-ended.
Open-ended questions. That's right.
Yeah, open-ended questions start typically, if you just want to start at a low level, they start with that why,
right?
How, not what and how much of. Those are just end. Like he's gonna say, well, we have 2 and we did 3.
Right.
We took 1. That doesn't flow conversation. We say, well, how do you see this, or why is that going on, or what are your general challenges? Anyways, so he is continuing rather well. Let's go.
And how about the brothers, the guys those are the 2?
One of my brothers is quite involved, but probably not quite as involved as I am. He looks after some more of the marketing and sales elements.
Right.
And then my father still has an active role in an advisory sense, and a minor shareholder. And but it's mainly operationally run by myself.
Got it. And how about the actual? Do you have a CFO that reports to you, or
look, we have a business manager, and he looks after a lot of the finances, a lot of the accounting, and that sort of thing. So I guess he's like our CFO. Right. So now you're basically fully integrated in the sense that your own farms, right? You're actually growing the stuff, processing it, and then shipping it out. That's right. Just China or distributing domestically. Yep. And would your plan be if you were going to in China? Let's talk about China for a second, because I personally think that's a massive
market. I'm a big believer in the China story going forward. Okay, so would you be looking to develop the products here and then ship them there raw and process them in China, or actually have land in China and grow them in China?
The hard thing with organic products, especially in the dairy and the industry, is that because we can't use as many preservatives, it's harder to keep them for longer. They perish quicker. So we have a disadvantage, I guess, if we don't. I believe if we don't move some of our facilities to China, and we'd certainly be able to get fresher products, and we are about fresh products by having some facilities over there. But then there's, we're not familiar with that land. It'll take a bit of time to get up the experience curve over there. So, there are some natural advantages to being there, but there's also some disadvantages.
Right. Let me ask you a question. Have you guys considered actually trying to partner up with someone that's purchase an existing small producer?
What he's attempting to do now, and I allow you to give a reaction because he has continued the conversation a little bit more. So, after establishing that living room rapport, now talking about, hey, what about shifting this and shifting that? Again, no expert knowledge. It's still fluffy, right? We're just trying to get the guy to talk a little bit about his business operations. And I would say that a little bit what he's trying to do right now is he's almost trying to play the consultant role, what they call consultative selling, right? Play the consultant role before he even gets hired to play the consultant role, right? He's trying to see this, that, and the other. But what do you think about this stage? Because it's all a phase, by the way. He hasn't made the pitch yet. Ladies and gentlemen, he hasn't made the pitch yet. It's still just that he said what his company does, and he's trying to fish out for a need. Go ahead.
Yeah. The other thing I want to point out, he's using his imagination pretty well. So he, whenever a salesperson says, let's just imagine,
on his feet.
Let's just say that, you had a chance to work in China. Let's just say, so he's allowing, that fluff to start to mold into something that the customer can start to see without signing any paperwork. And he hasn't even made the pitch. So, and even the hand, when he's using his hand, another thing, he's using his hand to draw something, right? He says, hey, what is, and he's emphasizing on the ifs. And that's the power of imagination, because I always say this to people, your imagination can give you anything you want to picture. And he's using that with the information that he's getting. So if you notice, he says, you're trying to expand domestically, and he even pitches slowly, like a mini pitch, like maybe you're trying to expand domestically, and then he says China, and then he paints his picture, says it's a big market. And when he talked about the pain points about China, he says it's a 900-pound gorilla. So he's made the pain point big, but also the opportunity is even bigger. And he's using his hand. He says it's big. It's, he just creates this size, right? And you can see the customer is almost, you can see his excitement's picking up a little bit. He says, oh wow. Well, first of all, he starts talking about his pain point right away. These are organic products, and we're not sure how, because we don't use any preservatives. These organic products are homegrown here in Australia. And, I don't understand how we could continue that in China. So right away, he gives him a little bit of information there. Whether or not he's going to use it, we don't know. But, that's what I gathered from that interaction.
Shout out to Kaizoria in the building. Okay, demonstrating to us that indeed the super chat function does work. He says, support the show, Nickus. Listen,
Android user.
An Android user, indeed. And those are Kenyan shillings of some kind. I think that's like $2. So Leroy is asking if it's a position or a business proposal. It is a business proposal. He's saying, hey, let me do some of your, and we'll let him get to his pitch, right? So
yeah,
he's a bank, right? And the business owner is a business owner who is in this farming, producing, and exporting of agricultural products, right? So he's a bank, but he hasn't made his direct pitch yet, but it's not a job proposal. So let's see as he continues.
Organics in China, and kind of then use your technology. This way, you have sort of a stable foothold already there, and then grow their business versus trying to start from scratch at all.
Look, I've certainly played with the idea. Very cautious about it, just because we're a family business, built a lot on trust. Organics companies don't tend to collaborate all that well. They tend to kind of keep a lot of their secrets to themselves. But I mean, I'm not close to the idea, but I just have some reservations.
I mean, the reason I say it is because, one of the things that we do, we specialize in is, we're, as a global merchant banker, we have strategic alliances all over the world, and especially in China. Yeah. So one of the things we could do is actually introduce you to kind of various people along every element of the supply chain, whether it's
So it's teasing him with the network. Like,
That's
let's see if
right.
he bites on the network
Yeah.
aspects. Like, let me see this network thing. I doubt a person of this character because I think I understand the guy behind the chair. Certain aspects of his of I think we're similar in certain aspects, right? I'm not a Jordan Belfort type. I don't want to fluff with you, okay? And I'm not gonna just fall for your network pitch, by the way. So let's see.
Simply purchasing an organic, concern, or simply, getting you in touch with the right people for trucking, right people for any part of production, and of course distribution. So kind of to help you there, just to kind of put you in touch with the right people operationally, if that would help you kind of make a decision, at least give you more of a knowledge base to what's really you need to do to get yourself into.
And he's offering it as a consultation, right? He's still just offering that, hey, you know what? We might give you more data, give you more value, more of an ability to have clarity on the market, contact in the market, so you can make a decision to test things out, whatnot. So still doing that thing rather well. But I suspect this guy is not going to go for it.
China without, kind of stumbling and falling on your face.
Look, I mean, networks like that will obviously be useful.
Right.
This idea of getting into a partnership with another company, I'm not sure. I mean, is that the sort of thing you think?
No, I mean, listen, here's what I do. I'm a believer in what you weigh all your options, right? I totally get that, like, there's a certain culture that made you guys what you are, right? And one of the great risks about China is it's a very different culture. Okay, so there's two issues that you face when you go to China. Number one, okay, you have to say, well, is my culture going to play well in that country? Because some things that just work here don't work well in China.
More fluff.
That's right.
Here's another mistake that Jordan has done, okay? This guy is now impatient. You can hear how he's repeating, right? Okay? This dude is now impatient.
Right.
They have 20 minutes, but this is the guy that wants you. He wants you to give him something quick. And Jordan now is doing the culture fluff. Everybody knows the culture. Oh, does your culture fit? How about if it fits, but then it's not translatable? How about if it's translatable but not scalable? I don't know. It's like, well, let's see. So this part I think is a mistake. My whole thing is about cutting out all those extra things that you shouldn't have said and just diving right in. But let's see. He might fumble for like another 5 seconds. Because I know here's the thing about it too. He knows that he's fumbling. That's why you can read it in his
his body language, and when he starts saying
exactly. So it's not like he doesn't know. It's not like he's oblivious to the fact that, okay, because when he's in control and when things are flowing, he sits a certain way.
He sits back, and then he's
But now he's like, the culture,
China, right? The other thing is, yes, my culture, in fact, will work well in China, but there's some sort of like disconnection between the way you think you're saying it to them and the way they're perceiving it. So it's important, whatever you do, what I would recommend, whether you want to control every last ounce of the supply chain, you need to have local Chinese people there who know the market, who know the people, who know the kind of the social demeanor there to make sure that your message especially here in Australia gets out in China. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, what do you think would be some of the cultural barriers for a business like mine moving into China?
I think that number one, it used to be like that China had this whole big,
He called his bluff.
He did. He flat out did.
And I think he almost purposely did it. I don't know. What do you think? I don't think this guy cares about the cultural differences. Okay.
Right.
I think this guy just wanted to call his bluff. Like, this dude. Okay, look.
But I like how he quickly just kind of started answering the question and immediately went back. You know what? I'm gonna start fluffing again.
Exactly.
He starts the question and goes, well, I mean, let's just forget about this for a second.
You see the body language where he's almost like,
you could tell he got thirsty right there.
He's compensating. What he's doing is like, he's acting as though, oh yes, I'm going to engage this question physically, but his words are not engaging the question at all. And we already kind of know what he's going to do here. He's going to fluff again about. That's I want to ask you, like, look where his eyes are. So he's thinking, he's imagining again. Like,
right. He, they say
culture differences.
When you
China,
look left. You remember what they say when someone's when they look left when they're talking to you, they're trying to draw out of imagination. Like, I got to say something.
Exactly. So it's like, I said cultural differences in China. I probably shouldn't have said that. I knew I was fumbling when I was saying it, and this guy called my bluff. Now I gotta fill out that I'm an expert, and I don't think he did well in this part. Okay, so far again, he asked the questions. He's probing correctly. He has done some homework about this guy's business. He understands supply chain, so on and so forth. He's trying to find that thing. He has yet to make his pitch, but he's fumbling right now. Let's watch him fumble. It's fun.
The sage white man, we want to know what the white man is doing. That was a big thing that when they felt like they were behind. Now there's been like almost a tip where they feel like they're the emerging dominant power, and almost like they are
total fluff. like what's some
especially
cultural
when you
differences?
bring the race, or he brings in the race.
Exactly. It's like cultural differences. If you're an expert, you'll be like, look, here is something about how they actually pay this particular fee. When they say 5%, it actually means 15 because blah blah blah. Not they used to be down as a civilization, and they would look at the white man, and now
they might be mad about COVID or something.
He totally got caught. There, but it happens to the best of us, right? It happens to the best of us, and that's why you don't say those things. That's why you don't go fluffing around, and that's why he should not even have said anything about the 3 areas that his business is in. He should have simply just asked the questions, and he should have gotten to his pitch quickly enough. So you need to state your intention, make a big claim, and then ask them if they've seen enough to make a decision at least every quarter of the duration of a meeting. In other words, if this is a 20-minute meeting, every 5 minutes I should try to close.
That's right.
Every 5 minutes I should try to close. I shouldn't be thinking just because it's a 20-minute meeting, I have 10 minutes to fluff. No. I should try to close in the first 5 minutes, which is basically giving you, here's my intention, here's my big claim, here's what I'm going to do for you. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Okay?
Right.
That's the kind of the formula, the way it goes when you're trying to close, right? And then because then he's going to have an objection for you. And then you play with that objection, and then you ask again in the next 5 minutes. And then you play with the next objection, and it's typically just, the objections are not separate things. People don't tell you exactly why they don't want to buy.
Right.
Okay, Leroy, for example. Hey, Leroy, when a salesman comes to you, forget the fact that, you're kind of open and all those kinds of things. You're going to tell him exactly how you feel. But generally speaking, you don't necessarily want to tell him why you don't want to buy from him. You don't want to tell him, hey, I don't want this gym membership because I don't really think I'm going to go to the gym.
No.
I don't want to actually get this deal because I'm not sure it works. I actually don't trust you, and I don't like you. Those are the real reasons why that people don't want to buy, right? I'm lazy. There's inertia. I like the way things are. In other words, people don't want change. It's always emotional. But what do people say? People say, I have to ask my wife. I have to ask my CFO. It's not in our projection for next quarter. I have to, that's not how people make decisions. So basically, he starts peeling off. The sooner you get to that asking, the sooner you start peeling off objections. And he hasn't gotten there yet. That's why he's fumbling. Let's watch him fumble and get to his first pitch.
Are the wise ones, and they know it all. So yet they, in truth, know. Of course, they don't know everything, right?
Total
so
BS. Total
cultural
BS.
gap of being able to educate them, but at the same time making them think it's their own idea. Like it's like giving them the facts so they come to the conclusion you wanted them to come to in the first place. And it doesn't happen so much. It doesn't do much with like production or marketing. Yeah. Okay, and as you guys know, you're not just producers, you're marketers. Okay, so you need to have kind of both elements of that equation wrapped up. Now, again, like obviously, since I'm a banker, I'm not in the organic food business, but one thing I do know is there are certain core distinctions that run through every industry, whether it's your industry, whether it's computers, whether you're selling automobile.
He ran away from culture long term.
He did.
Right?
He did.
So everybody noticed that, right? Everyone noticed that he has ran away from culture, right? Okay. Let me see. I think the balance is what matters here. I understand the fact. Let me see. Let me share this. This looks like a good comment here. I understand Ike's approach of cutting out the fluff, right? And there's also a certain level of rapport building, 100%, right? So, and this is where you have to deal with your personality.
Right. I was going to comment on that.
What Jordan Belfort is doing right now, this is master level stuff. Okay. This is not some kind of, and it's matching his personality. He is the backslapper, smiling. He genuinely wants to be there and have coffee or talk or whatever, right? He wants to talk about the game or whatever, right? He is that guy. So the way he builds rapport has to flow that way. So he's going to do a little bit more of the fluff. Me, the way I build rapport is different.
Right.
There is something about my personality where people expect a certain kind of directness, and it's fine, right? And I'm that way, and people either like me or hate me, and people don't think I'm a horrible person. But they just know, that's kind of how I
you roll.
That's how I roll, right? So I would then focus more on the slicing and all that kind of stuff. But I would fumble too in my method, right? Just like he's fumbling.
Fumbling in
Not
his
a perfect
method,
thing,
right.
but I would have pitched already. But anyways, go ahead. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you hit it on the head there with saying that it's your personality type. I was, in my sales, I'm a lot like him, but then I could morph when needed. So you have to also read your customer. I think I shared one of our videos, one of a big sale that I had when way back. I want to say back in 2015, no, actually 2014 or so, when they actually gave me all expense paid trip to Florida for having such good sales. The guy comes in with his son, and I used his son. I used the fact that his son likes playing video games like my son. I use the fact that what's going on in Lakerland. I use the fact that, and then the next thing you know it, we're getting along, and then got a big sale out of that. Had another customer, completely different standards, and it was a different sale. It was like I sold almost like I was you, just real direct. This is what you want because I know what you want. We're gonna do this. Sign here. We're done. So to be successful as a salesperson, you also have to learn to morph when needed. You have to know when you're dealing with a customer that, like, this customer needed a lot of this fluff and all this stuff. He did, because if you were paying attention, he said, this is a family business, and we kind of like to keep things within ourselves, and that triggered Jordan to go on a rant about the culture thing. So
see, that's very good, right? Because someone like me, I would not have noticed that.
Right.
All I noticed was the guy's demeanor,
right,
the length of his sentences. So I was like, okay, cool. This guy wants a certain kind of quick jujitsu match.
right.
So I'm just gonna close into the like. But you notice, so someone like me, I'd overlook it. But that's a good point. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So just to conclude my thoughts on at least on this topic is, so he took that and said maybe that's an opportunity, because this is a dynamic customer that had there were different dimensions to what he was talking about. He talked about producing organic food, talked about trucking, talked about it being a family business, talked about he's the main person. So he was looking for a window to just kind of build that rapport. So the way you build rapport it's entirely up to your personality type and the customer. But build a rapport anyway. There's some rapport that can be built in a few minutes. We talked about this on one other show. Oh, you're a Laker fan? My man. What do you think? Lakers going to win this year? Oh, for sure. And then just like that, the rapport is done. And so
100%.
From that moment, you can just say, hey, so you want to go ahead and get this? Because, I'll give you a good deal. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Right. So,
Indeed, it could be as quick as that, or as quick as, being as comfortable as, in other words, you could use the vibes method.
That's right. That's right.
Which you always got to have on. You always got to be the most comfortable person in the room.
Right?
Always. You cannot be you cannot. If you're more uptight than anyone in there, you're already losing. Anyway, so let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into his first pitch.
Okay, so what we try to do, again, we have a client like you. We don't look at things, hey, they're organic. That's a separate. It's something sort of global. Like, for instance, Mary, Don, right? Yeah. One of the things we did for Mary is we were able to save her a tremendous amount of money domestically and overseas on our commodities hedging, and on some of our currency swaps that she was doing. And the ways we did that is because we understand there are certain peculiarities to her industry, but at the same time, there are also some commonalities that apply to all industries. So we're able to come up with a model that directly suited her needs.
So just more fluff, right? The model and peculiarities, and you have a big foot and she has a small foot, and it's like, bruh, everybody knows this, right, from kindergarten. Still fluffing too much. I would have asked already. This took too long, but he's going to ask right about as we approach the I think his first was around 10 minutes, and we're at 8 minutes now. So I'm going to go a little bit forward, okay? So you get the idea so far. The reason why we looked at the personality types is because we know, I told myself, that you're going to need to present yourself differently to different types of people. Right. I have this basic thing where basically you want to get to your intention as quick as possible. So if you're beginning, your intention is to ask that question, get to it as quick as possible, right? Just right. I want to find out what's hurting you. Okay. Right. Just get to it. Right. And then you want to get to here's what I bring to the table, and bring a big claim. What do I mean by big claim? You gotta exaggerate. You gotta bluster. Right. People want to hear you exaggerate, or they're not gonna go. They need this energy to push them out of there's this kind of little comfortable dent. Imagine them that they're a bowling ball, okay? People are like a bowling ball on a cushion. They get sunk in and comfortable, and they don't want to change. And why do I want to change my banker? And I'm fine the way things are, and blah, blah, blah. Why rock the boat? Do I really even want to grow my company? I think I'm good at 5 million, right? Which is the size. I know they're a $50 million company. So you need extra. You need to be extra to push them out of it. You can't just give them facts. You got to be like, hey, I'm going to be the best, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to add some fluff. They're like, I can save you easily 50% on this particular margin. No, blah, blah, blah. And then ask if they've seen enough. Where he's going to use the puppy dog method here. The puppy dog method of have you seen enough is to say, fair enough, or what could go wrong, or there's nothing to lose, right? It's a opening up to saying, look, I'm non-threatening. Now, what is your objection? So because the idea of selling is to get to the objection. So far, they've been fluffing, and he has not been able to find something to say, hey, let me give you this. Do you object? What is the objection? What is your objection to taking this from me? And he's going to get to it right about, I think it's here. Let me see.
Let me work. Give me 30 days. I'll do my trade small.
Yeah, you see, he's there now. You see, he's got the hand. 30 days. You know, we're getting down to business. But the point is, So why I said he had a pitch when he came in here. He had this planned out. What are you about to hear him say? I'm going to go take a couple of steps back, I think, and so that we can see him build up to his exact point. Okay, but this is his first pitch.
With your commodities, the hedging strategies, and the currency stuff. With the stuff you're doing both in Singapore, Hong Kong, and in China. Yeah. Okay, and I want to get in there right away, straight away, and I want to go in there and give me a shot to beat it. Let me work. Give me 30 days.
So he wants to beat a particular rate. Okay, so he wants to be able to do certain kind of currency exchanges for him. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, this is my point. Okay, there's something called capital markets. You know, he's got to move money around. He's doing international business. People are brokers in all over in all kinds of banking transactions. He's a broker saying, look, I can help you move money around and save you 5% in the transactions. That's more or less what he's saying. And he's saying, give me 30 days. Okay, so this is his pitch. He knew he was going to say, he didn't just come up with give me 30 days. He was circling around to getting to this point. So let him say exactly what his big claim is. He'll be able to do it in 30 days.
30 days, right?
Big claim, right? Let's see. Go ahead, comment while it buffers.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, they're just, I see a couple of interesting things on the chat, but I wanted to comment on the fact that his mind was already made up, like you said, and what he was going to say and do. But I think that, you know, what he does throughout the video is when he finds himself in trouble, of course, he's paying attention. We don't have the privilege of seeing the customer's body language per se. But if when the customer starts to lean forward, you could see he's, you know, it almost seems like when he leans forward, he's saying, come close to me. So he's strategically doing everything. I know someone said in here that, you know, he's a terrible salesperson. This is the perfect salesman's. This is a nightmare for a salesman, but I think he does a brilliant job getting himself out of the mess that he made.
Yeah, because exactly. Because the whole thing about this jiu-jitsu match, which is what sales is. What do I mean by that? Why am I just saying jiu-jitsu? There is a point to it. The point is that you can see somebody be on his back and on guard. If I'm assuming that we're all MMA specialists, but to be on your back is when someone has mounted you. It's a wrestling match. The person's got the top, right? And you're on guard. You got your leg wrapped around them, okay? A lot of people are great from guard to pin, getting you into submission. They're working. Given 5 minutes, you'll be tapping out, right? So the point being, you may get yourself in certain kinds of a situation where he shouldn't. And I pointed out, like, look, too much fluff, which is basically what this guy is saying here, right? Too much fluff. You said too much. You said the stuff about the company that you work for, which I didn't even remember. Okay, so the idea is flying number is correct in the sense that it's too much fluff, but he is able to get to his pitch, and his pitch has those three again: intention, big claim. Have you seen enough to make a decision?
Right.
Let's play it. I think it's done buffering. Let's see him say what exactly he's offering with the intention, the big claim, and fair enough. That's his method. His method is to say fair enough.
Sure, they're great and everything. I know them. They're a very good, reputable company. Respect them. But we specify in something that's a little bit different. And one of the first things I'd love to try is take a look at exactly what you're doing with your commodities, the hedging strategies, and the currency stuff. With the stuff you're doing both in
This
Singapore,
is what he wanted the whole time.
Hong Kong, and in China.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to get in there right away, straight away, and I want to go in there and give me a shot to beat it. Like, let me work. Give me 30 days. I'll do my trade small. Start small. Don't stop what you're doing. Put a small amount of your trades through me, and then analyze in 30 days the percentage gain. And if I'm even half as good as I say, I believe you'll be moving all your business over to me.
You heard the big claim there?
You did. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a format to this. My whole point is this is what he prepared. He sat down. He looked at the company last night, like for me, if I'm going to go pitch something to a company tomorrow, I'll look at the situation. I'm like, what can I give them as a one-line big claim? I can solve this big problem. Okay. Right. And then see what their objection is. And then when you get to the objection part, then you're dancing a real jiu-jitsu fight, right? Because the fluff part, you're like grasping at air and clouds. But when you get them in a, do you want this? And they say, hey, yeah, but it's perfect.
Right.
Or
you have an opportunity to overcome.
Or they could push it back in your face and be like, I don't even want that at all. And then you go back to fluff land and you come back with the same pitch, exactly same pitch, and then they'll bite. Because remember, objections are not actually what people say. The real objections are emotional. The reason I don't want to buy this stuff from you is that I don't like your face. I don't want to buy this stuff from you because my mother-in-law is my current broker. I don't want to buy this. There are many reasons that I don't want to tell you. So I'm gonna just say all kinds of other things. But the more I'm able to ask you the question, the more likely you're able to tell me, like, you know what, look, it's just the reason I don't want to do this is because I think I got to wait a few months. I've had this issue with this, that, and the other, and I'm not sure. I'm not so certain about this, blah, blah, blah. You want to break them down to that point. That's the point where they're the most vulnerable. That's why they don't want to tell you. They're protecting themselves.
That's right.
Objections are a self-protecting mechanism. A good salesperson knows I got to ask that question a few times. I analogize it to burning, objections are like wax. You just need a flame next to it, and it'll melt away. Okay, it is not like a Rubik's cube where he said this, so now I'm going to say this and this. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You just got to stay there,
right?
And because what he's telling you is not until he gets down to something that sounds like a human reason that we all recognize. It's BS. It's never the quarter or the this or that. It's some kind of human thing that's going on. Like, I'm afraid you're a big banker. You're going to abandon me. We're a small family business. We're not a $250 million company. So he made this pitch, okay? And let's do this and hear him say the fair enough. Again, he makes his intention. He makes a big claim. And then he says, fair enough, which is basically saying, hey, you've seen enough to make a decision. Puppy dog, no threat.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to get in there right away, straight away, and I want to go in there and give me a shot to beat it. Like, let me work. Give me 30 days. I'll do my trade small. Start small. Don't stop what you're doing. Put a small amount of your trades through me, and then analyze in 30 days the percentage gain. And if I'm even half as good as I say, I believe you'll be moving all your business over to me after that. That sound fair enough?
Fair enough.
Well,
fair enough.
I mean, I'm not particularly worried about where we're at in that space. I mean, what?
He just pushed it back. He said, I don't really care about the market.
Right.
That's never true. Right.
Right.
In other words, if you felt like you could do something, tweak a particular number, maybe in some interest rate that you're getting somewhere in some bank, you would do it if it was just as simple as a knob, right? So to say, I don't really care about that interest rate means I got to take you from that point to where you can see it as a knob. Because I got to take you to make you guide you. It's like a birthing process. So he just got his first pitch rejected. The point of making the pitch is so that you can get it rejected. He just wasted a lot of time. In my opinion, again, my style. I know that you have there's a personality thing, and I'm going to keep it strictly this way where it'll be like, okay, cool. If it were me, I would have gotten rejected at least twice because already, right? Not wait for until now. So he's gotten his first rejection with the guy saying, look, I'm not really sure I care about what you just said.
Particularly what you want to be doing.
Well, let me ask you a question. First of all, does the overall idea?
Pitch.
Okay. So
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
right?
Let's go back to the
Exactly.
beginning. Okay. You know what? Hi,
Oh.
my name is Jordan Belfort. I mean, what's your name?
Let's go back. Let me ask you a question. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Is where
In
you
other
always
words, I
begin.
need to find another way to get in.
Exactly. So
Right.
he's going back again. That's what I said. There is a whole method to this. You ask questions that are open-ended. Okay. We call that fluff land. And then you give your pitch, which has a big claim to it. And it says, hey, is this enough? What do you, why not?
Right.
And he's going to go through this process again. Let's watch him do it one more time.
In terms of, of us advising you, not just in one area, but all areas, make sense to you that we could be an asset over the long. Does that appeal to you?
Well, I guess it certainly does. It just depends on, what it's going to cost us.
Right. Well, exactly. And of course, cost always in the end comes down to it, but it's not just so much cost, it's also the value you get for the cost, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things we pride ourselves on, okay, just, is a company.
Cost versus value, more fluff, right?
And I want to just comment real quick. He says something very powerful. Does that appeal to you? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting at home with your, partner and you're deciding what are we going to eat for dinner, instead of saying, hey, let's have Chipotle. You want to have Chipotle? You're probably going to get a no. You want to have pizza? I don't know. You want to have Chinese food? I don't know. Rather say, are you opposed to Chipotle? Does Chipotle sound appealing? How appealing does Chipotle sound? Hey, you know what? It turns your no into a yes. No, I'm not opposed to it. That's really another way of saying yes, So he used a really good, and the word appealing has an emotional tone to it. Like, does that sound appealing? So it just sounds like, it has to sound appealing. You almost want to say yes to the word appealing, right? So take note, guys.
Take note, not to get too deep into this because there's so much depth into all this stuff we're saying.
Right.
But people actually would rather say no than say yes.
That's correct.
Because no means autonomy. D knows. D's in the chat. D's a rambunctious type. She probably wants to say no all the time. Like, no. Give people an opportunity to say no, and you can win them over.
That's right.
Just simply by flipping the question the way he said it, like, are you opposed? And like, no. Because people don't want to. People want to feel like they can say no. People want to feel like they can push back, negate something.
Right.
It's a nice little psychological trick. But anyways, he has gone back to the fluff land of saying, look, does this particular thing appeal to you? One thing he has gotten so far out of this guy that's solid is cost. Did you notice that?
Right.
Okay, let me take a few seconds.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh, that cost is not a problem." I mean, we have no problem.
Yeah. So again, you see the cycle, right? He goes back. He casts in the net. Let me find something. What's something? First time he saw a general landscape, he's like, let me just try to give my pitch of saving you this money, which I would have just gone right in the first 5 minutes.
Right.
Then now he goes back and he casts the net and he hears a word cost.
Right.
Now he's going to try to latch onto that. Well, let's watch.
Well, I guess it certainly does. It just depends on, what it's going to cost us.
Right.
Depends on what's going to cost us. And he's like, you see his face? It's like, something. I got something. Okay.
And another thing too, if you notice, when he goes into the fluff land, he tilts his head to the right. I mean, when he's fluffing, he tilts to the right. And when he's trying to, when he gets uncomfortable, he switches his head to the left because, every time you turn left or do left, you're pulling from your imagination, right? So that's another thing. So his body language, he'll switch his head just as he hears a new information. Everything's changing. So it's a really good, something to pay attention to. So go ahead, play the video.
Indeed.
Well, exactly. And of course, cost always in the end comes down to it, but it's not just so much cost, it's also the value you get for the cost, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things we pride ourselves on, okay, just, as a company, and the true beauty of what we do is that every transaction that we do with you, okay, we're looking always at two things. A, to keep costs down as much as possible, anything, whether it's brokerage, hedging, helping you purchase an asset you didn't think you could afford, helping you expand into a new market, going public perhaps, okay, getting.
Most of what he's doing right now, he's not trying to impress the guy that he knows about value versus cost. He's not trying to impress the guy that he knows. He's trying to tell him, hey, we look into cost and we look into the price of the money that we're going to use. We look 5 years down the line. He's not trying to impress him with that. He's trying to say, I know, I feel your pain. Yes,
right.
I feel your pain. Correct. It's called pacing and leading. Before you lead somebody, they want to see you walking beside them. It's what it means. So what you do is you walk beside them for a while, right? And the next thing you do, you take one step ahead, and then they start following you.
That's right.
A bridge loan in the farm market. Of course, we always look at cost, okay? But we also look at the 3 to 5 years down the road, Okay, because sometimes the cheapest money is not the best money. So of course we'll lay both options out to you. I'll say, listen, you can do it this way and save yourself, 3 basis points, or you can maybe pay 2 basis points more, but you'll be in alliance with the top people in China. Okay, that'll be more flexible with terms and also allow you to grow.
He has combined a few things. He brought back his network.
Right, he did. Value.
He brought back his network. Remember, one of the things he tried to sell before, ladies and gentlemen, was a network. He said, I got network in the supply chain. Get you in touch with people in trucking. Get you in touch with people in manufacturing. And then he fumbled the ball, started talking about culture, got his bluff called and died. That line died. But one valuable thing there was still the network.
The network. That's right.
The network this guy didn't buy the first time, but now he's gonna take the cost, mix it with
the network.
and let's see. Let's shake it up one more time. And again, he's doing all this to get to the second pitch, just so he can repeat himself again, give that big claim again, and pitch again. That's the name of the game. It's a jujitsu tussle. It's a let me burn this flame in front of your wax of objections until you give in. And it's not given like in a bad way. It's feel comfortable enough to tell me why you really don't want to do this. That's really all it is. Feel comfortable enough to tell me, you know what? I just don't feel like I'm just lazy.
Right.
Or I'm comfortable. Yeah, we say we want to grow to be a $250 million company, but I'm actually comfortable in a $50 million company. You get what I'm saying? Those are the real reasons why
he's really the one trying to cut the crap, if you think about it.
Exactly. The sales guy is the one that's actually trying to cut the crap down for you to tell him, hey, you know what? I will get this gym membership, but I'm just too lazy.
Yeah, or you know what? Hey, to be honest with you, I got bad credit. Okay, I'll tell you what, my credit is messed up. Okay.
Yeah, you're trying to get to a certain kind of point, because from that point you can still salvage something. Anyways, let's continue. So he's combining value for value. He's back in Fluffland, swimming around. He's circling. He's gonna make a pitch again pretty soon.
Grow a facility, let you grow to where exactly this is not going to be a $50 million company forever. Obviously, going to be a $250 million company. So we look at both the short term and long. Does that make sense to you? Do you like that program?
Look, in theory, it sounds good, but I mean, at the end of the day,
in theory, it sounds good. This kind of guy needs something. Okay,
right.
So he said cost, kind of like.
He did say, does that make sense to you?
Exactly.
I like that. Right.
So he's asking these questions. Okay. In other words, it's like, okay, I'm done. Now he's in pitch mode. Like he's putting things more in the, here's an offering. Here's an offering, right? Rather than the I'm your friend. He's okay, here's an offering mode, right? And this guy said good in theory. So what Jordan is thinking now. Yeah, what Jordan is thinking now is I need to give him the pitch again. Because my pitch has 30 days in it.
Right.
It's not a theory, right? My pitch has 30 days. It has blah, blah, blah. So if I were Jordan, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm not just immediately jump, right? I'm going to find my way back to the pitch. Okay, so good in theory. Okay, good. I'll get you some numbers. Okay.
It sounds like you deal with a lot of big companies, and we're not a huge company.
So you see how he's now sounding more real, like,
we're not really a huge company. Like,
we're not a
big
little company. Exactly. Before it was like, we don't care about that part of the market. Nobody doesn't care about anything. You know what I mean? Like you say, hey, before the billions, I come to you with some kind of a pitch. I'm like, we're going to take down this thing and we're going to make $20 million together. And you're like, I don't really care about that. That's not your real objection, right? Your real objection has to do with fear, uncertainty. You don't trust me. You don't like me. That's really what's going on. And it's my job to keep dancing with you, keep enough rapport for me to pitch again so you can tell me the next time you tell me the reason is going to be more human. And he's getting more human now.
It's a pretty simple business model, actually. So I'm just wondering if it's all a bit too much and too complex for us.
Right.
We've run it pretty successfully in the past by following a pretty simple model.
Right.
So I'm just not sure.
Well, let me say this. I hear what you're saying, and I like to pride myself on being a guy that takes medium-sized companies and turns them.
He was about to call him a small company. Did you notice that?
He did. He's like,
I'm the guy that takes medium
size. In other words,
he called him
promised him a future. He's promised him in the future. I'm gonna promise you a future if you work with me, right?
Yeah, but he didn't want to call him small, right? And insult him right here in the present. Okay, so this is his mind. You guys get this. You guys see what's going on,
right?
So when you know that there's a process behind this and there's a place he's trying to get to, right, through questions and all this stuff, it becomes a little bit more, shall we say, because we all have to negotiate, we all have to persuade people, okay?
Right.
Our children, our spouses, our employers, whatever it may be. We simply are humans, are social animals, we're political animals, we have to communicate. Very important for our survival, okay? So what you're seeing here is communication broken down in a very systematic way, and where you can break it down systematically because there's a goal, right? So you can see how one moves in order to get to that goal. Basically is why this whole selling thing is important. Regardless of whether you think, again, that you're a quote-unquote salesperson, the idea of moving up, okay, the idea of taking on a more responsibility and development in any career involves having more and more influence, therefore being able to influence. It's that simple.
I'm just wondering if it's all a bit too much and too complex for us.
Right, right.
We've run it pretty successfully in the past by following a pretty simple model.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just not sure.
And let me say this: I hear what you're saying, and I like to pride myself on being a guy that takes medium-sized companies and turns them into big companies, and that's really how we make our money. You know, all big companies once were medium-sized, and once small companies.
He also just got another thing. Jordan Belfort is very comfortable right now.
Right.
Do you know why? Because he just opened up the future for him.
Right. He said we're a small company, so he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna turn you into a big company.
Do you guys see what's going on here? The whole thing of, well, he came in and it's like, we only got 20 minutes and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really care about a part of the market. Now, if you were not someone who understands that all that stuff people say is not the real reason why they're not wanting to do stuff with you,
right,
then you will have been discouraged. But Jordan knows. So Jordan is like, I'm going to keep on going through and using whatever you give me. Now, he gave him this whole kind of, we're a small company, which is more real. Now, Jordan's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you can even
into the future.
You can even tell that the customer's voice even starts to sound a lot more human. Like, you know what, this sounds a little bit complicated for us, you know, because we're really just a small company. At the beginning, he was like, well, tell me a little bit more about this. Now you could, like you said, Jordan is in complete control, and now he knows that he's got him. You know,
yeah, he's starting to. It's like, hey, future land, because Jordan is a fluff guy. Here's what I mean by that. I'm a fluff guy too. Personality wise, I mean that I'm more of an entrepreneur than a CEO. And I like to say, because I thought you know me, that I don't like to push knobs and do stuff. Like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not dumb. It's just I just don't like to do it. So I want to go start some crazy stuff. Right? I want to write the music and do all that stuff. I don't want to push the knobs. Okay. So
that's where I come in. I love the knobs.
Exactly. So Jordan is similar to me. He's an entrepreneur type. So he is very comfortable in this open space of, let me take you to the future. Let me fluff you about take you from a $50 billion to $250 billion company, right? And he's very comfortable with that. And by the way, this dichotomy which I just described, this CEO versus kind of entrepreneur type, both are needed for any company to exist. Both are not the same people. You know, you can't have it's not quite the same person.
Right? Yeah. And the same dynamics that apply to a business at your size. It's no different for a $50 million or a $500 million company. Yeah. It's a different way of thinking. And I think in some levels, and listen, that's why I said to you, I'm not looking to interfere with relationships that you have right now.
He knows about the possible relationship objection as well, because these are a small company that is also family owned. They do their stuff because by way of a relationship with some particular, shall we say, let's just put it this way. They started a farm in Iowa. I know this is Australia or something like that, right? And the person who's been doing supplying all the trucks is the same guy. And they grew together. You know, a lot of times businesses grow together. So the whole supply chain grows together.
Right.
The farmer is growing. The person supplying them the seeds is growing. The person supplying their trucking is growing. So it's this ecosystem of relationships. And when you're coming in to sell something, you got to know that you're literally telling somebody, hey, get rid of your uncle, get rid of that person. I'm a better guy. That's what you're doing. Right. And you always got to keep that. So he's saying, I'm
not going to interfere. I'm not going to mess with your other relationships.
He said it one other way before when he said, you don't have to stop what you're doing. Just give me 30 days and a small block. And now he's saying it again.
In a different,
I'm not going to mess with your relationships.
Right.
Okay. But I'm going to take you to 250 billion. Right. Let's deal with the fact that you're actually scared to go to 250 billion, which is not a bad thing. We are all scared to go to 250 billion. Right. But I'm the guy that'll take you there. Right.
Because I think that a smart business person, you guys are obviously smart, you know what you do well, right? to throw the baby out with the bathwater would be ridiculous. That's why if I came in saying, fire this guy, we want to wait, I don't want that, okay? Yeah. What I want to be is the guy, I don't want to be the guy that took you from 0 to 50. I have those people. Mm-hmm. I want to be the guy that takes you from 50 to 500 million. Okay, mm-hmm. In that area, I know I could be a major asset to you because we can do for you besides, any one trade in commodities and then over the long term in the way of taking you public, finding you bond financing and notes that you need for, overseas transactions. We can be an asset to your company over the long term. And I just personally about myself, I pride myself on holding my clients' hands every step of the way. I deal, as you know, from Mary, only on referral. I'm not a cold calling machine, okay? It's all long-term relationships. And I know this, I'm going to...
He's saying, look, I'm going to take you there, and we didn't get here where we are by not taking people there.
Right.
And look, it's all about referral. Someone referred you to me. Like, I'm going to take you to the next level. I get it. You're a small person. You're good at what you do. You don't want to disrupt your relationships.
Right.
The guys that took you from 0 to 50, keep those guys. I'm going to take you from 50 to 500.
Right.
Okay. That's what he's doing now. And he's also getting ready to pitch again.
Right.
Judged basically on one trade. If I say, hey, let's do some business together, give me a shot.
He started pitching, right? Yeah. He wants to. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, he's going to make sure he states the big claim again, intention, give me a shot, 30 days, big claim, and ask him, fair enough? In other words, this is the second time he's going to do it. And I'm alerting you that, look, there's a system to this. This is not a dummy. In other words, selling is not a dummy game. Like people who are in we know what he's doing because we do this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
30 days and I'm wrong and I stink. You'll fire me as one of your bro. We'll never speak again. We'll shake hands, hey, it didn't work and that's that, right? And just, my commission on 30 days of business, and this is, I just stood with the firm.
What do you have to lose?
The government, I can't take my wife out for lunch in Australia. I'm not getting rich, okay? But I know this. If you see what I could do for you in 1 month, just small, you're not going to get rich.
Big claim, right? See what I can do with you. The percentage growth, not just give me a small percentage. It's not going to get rich off of this money you're going to give me or get poor off of the money if I don't make the percentage. But just give me this one thing, right? Making sure that he hammers the big claim every time. Don't forget to make it big. Don't forget, because here's another opportunity. He has let me in again to make this pitch. And this second time, it's a little bit more flowy, more organic. Like, hey, it seems like it might work this time.
Yeah,
I talked about my networks. Yeah, I talked about networks. We talked about cost. We talked about growth, right? So now let me hit him again. Give me that trade. Let me prove to you, sir.
Report, but the percentage gain. Okay, you'll see you have a broker that was going to work for you, harder for you, more diligently than anyone ever has. And all I ask is that then, down the road, when I really kind of get into your business and see the bigger opportunities, you give me a shot bigger and better down the road. That's not fair enough?
That's not fair enough.
If he repeats this system and says, does that sound fair enough? Ladies and gentlemen, do you think he's not doing this on purpose? Here's my point. Like, it doesn't matter what you think of Jordan personally, but can I get a 1 in the chat?
His method works.
This is the second time he has repeated a pattern of speech and then ended it with, does that sound fair enough? Do you think he's not doing this on purpose? If you get a 1 in the chat, if you think it's on purpose, give me a 2 in the chat. If you think, nah, he's just winging it. 1 in the chat. If you think it's on purpose. He repeats the same pattern and he says, does that sound fair enough? Okay, that's twice now. Okay, the first time he did it was at about 10 minutes.
And I want to comment real quick just before you play the video. The tone in which he says it is important, because when he's talking about what he's going to do, you notice his voice goes, yeah, we can take your company around. I can get you connected with my network and we can get you places. You go from a medium company to a large company. And then he says, so what do you think? Does that sound fair enough? And all of a sudden his voice softens on purpose.
On purpose. On 100% purpose. And it's kind of funny that I saw this because I said the exact thing. Go to my playlist on selling, okay? A couple of which, we've done a couple of videos on that topic, and I've done a couple of presentations on that topic where I say, hey, basically you want to rouse them up with this big claim, and then when you're telling them and you're going to be like, hey, what do you have to lose?
Right.
Right?
It's like telling in our admissions, I tell a college student, well, the program is going to take 4 years. Look. Every president's term is 4 years. At some point they serve 2 terms if they're really good, and at some point during those 4 years of a president's term, you'll be graduating from the program. I mean, if you think about it, 4 years is going to go by anyway. They go, you're right.
Exactly. Look, as mammals, again, we all know what Aitois just did. Okay. We hear it all the time. We kind of do it instinctively. But the point is to take these things which are effective and which sometimes we stumble upon instinctively and know how to deploy them strategically.
Correct.
He strategically deploys, let me rouse you up and then say, look,
Sound fair enough?
there's nothing to lose. I just told you that, look, if you hire my company, if you hire my mercenary, we will take down that hill and the 2 other villages that are challenging you. We will take it down. And all you have to do is just give me a chance to demonstrate my ability in this one battle. That sound fair enough?
Not fair enough.
Like, that's it's that's the system. Let's continue.
Science, yeah.
What do you
But
think?
hold on a second. I think that I was going to
Yeah, you were.
show
I
them-
think you were about to go to the 10-minute mark where he first says, "Is
Yeah,
that fair
because-
enough?" Yeah.
around the 10-minute mark, he does the same pitch. My critique was he should have done it at 5 minutes.
Right.
It was too much fluff. He almost sank. And that's why all the critiques in the chat are correct about, hey, will Bill Gates listen to this guy? Bill Gates schedules his time in 7-minute increments.
Right.
You know what I mean? 7 minutes.
He
That's
probably
it.
would have done this in if the client walked in and said, "I only have 7 minutes," he would have pulled it off in 7 minutes.
I think so. I think the 20 minutes kind of got him into the let me get all. It's like,
Right.
no. Get quick. Let's see the first time he says it.
Through me, and then analyze in 30 days the percentage gain.
Mhm.
And if I'm even half as good as I say, I believe you'll be moving all your business over to me after that. That sound fair enough?
Does that sound fair enough?
Okay. So we get it, right? We get it that look, there is a system here, there's a method to the madness, and it's not very complicated. Attention, intention, big claim, and ask if they've seen enough to make a decision. Get their
Right.
attention, tell them what your intention is, make a very big claim. Very big claim. I will just defeat all your enemies. But all you got to do is push this one little button for 5 easy payments of $39.65. You
Easy.
too can.
Emphasis on easy.
Easy payments.
I don't know what's easy about a payment, but okay.
Not difficult payments. You know how sometimes payments are difficult? No, this one is an easy payment. But anyways, so he said it that time. Let's play it again, him saying it again. Again, if your meeting should last 20 minutes, you should pitch 4 times in that meeting. Every quarter, okay? You should pitch 4 times in any meeting. If it's an hour, every 15 minutes. If it's 20 minutes, every 5 minutes, okay? So let us see again.
That was going to work for you, harder for you, more diligently than anyone ever has. And all I ask is that then, down the road, when I really kind of get into your business and see the bigger opportunities, you give me a shot bigger and better down the road. That's not fair enough?
What do you think is possible?
See that pitch in the voice?
Right.
That's not-
That's not fair enough.
You know, that is literally a puppy yelping. Again, these are not, because he's not going, that's not fair enough. It's like, that's
Yeah,
not
he
fair
could have
enough.
said, because that's fair, right? Then that
Yeah.
sounds authoritative, but he says, "Does that sound fair enough?" And and the moment he says that, he tilts his head like, "Does that
Yeah,
sound
like,
fair enough?"
like, I'm
Like the
look,
puppy
look
dog
at him. Look at this guy.
And look at the lady in the background. They're looking at him going, "I know you got him."
Look at this guy. Like, I'm just a little poor boy. Yeah, 100%. Like, does that sound fair enough? I mean, come on, give me a chance. Yeah, but anyways, this is the second pitch. Let's see now, because the first pitch, he said, look, I don't care about that part of the market, okay?
Right.
And then he told him, and then he was able to go through fluff to get him to talk about cost and certain other aspects and about the future too, about the growth. And he said, look, if growth is what you want, let me take you there. But let me demonstrate myself again with this 30-day plan. The 30-day plan is his bullet, is his nugget. That's what
Right.
he's come here with. That's his pitch. Everything else is fluff, okay? His pitch is this 30-day plan, okay? And he just shot it again. Let's see what happens.
30 days. I mean, how much can you do in a month?
Not a question of money.
He's got him now because now he's asking, well, how much exactly can you save me? Right? You see, now Jordan is like, whoo. Jordan's like, okay.
I've got
I'm back.
you.
I think I'm back in the game. And by the way, this is not necessarily gotcha. This is I'm back in the game, right?
Right. Like I've got my swag back.
I can go in for another stab because
Right.
now we can talk something solid. And again, this is the kind of guy that wants to talk something solid, right? And he's cautious. He's grown a company up to $50 million, and they have relationships and they have systems. They're a little comfortable, but they would like to go to 250. okay, with somebody that can guide them there. And if I were to give you this 30-day opportunity, what kind of money are we looking at? And it's like, look, it's not about the money, it's about the percentage. He's going to explain it now.
It's a question of percentage savings. In other words, listen, let me ask you a question. Right now, how much are you currently hedging on a monthly basis right now?
I'm not sure on a monthly basis. We're about 77% of our mid-70% of our debt is unhedged.
Okay.
So I think that means about 22 million of our overall debt is hedged. 22
million is hedged annually.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have about 20 million that's about how much? So you said how much is unhedged? About 70% is hedged?
No, unhedged.
Unhedged.
Yeah.
Okay, so about 22 million is hedged.
He's using the pad now. Like when you're using the pad,
yeah, you're writing some numbers down.
So here's what you want to do, because a lot of times when I give group presentations, because that's a strength of mine, by the way, you got to know your strengths.
Right.
I'm not the best one-on-one, but in a group, I mean, I don't know. I could job just as good as anybody that ever existed. Like if I really want to put into it, I could do some crazy things with a group, right? And a performance kind of thing, right? So, but the thing you want when I'm giving this group presentation, especially when there's a blackboard like the one behind me here, okay? What you want is at some point, this is the holy grail. At some point in the meeting, you're writing on the blackboard, and then some people have stood up from the meeting and they're looking and you guys are talking together, right? You guys are now on the blackboard together. That's how you know you got them. So that's just another thing I wanted to bring up, because basically now he's writing. You had brought up the pad before.
Right.
Now he's writing and they're getting into some numbers. They're talking past each other with regards to some numbers, but let's get to it.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so you have about 35 or 40 million unhedged, correct?
No, we've got a lot more than that. We've got about 150 odd million that's unhedged. No, we've got it in terms of our debt.
What's the revenue?
What's our revenue?
I'm talking the revenue.
So this
authoritative again now, right?
That's right. He got the conversation back his way.
Tell me your revenue.
Tell it.
No, the guy's like, yeah, I'll tell you, master.
$150 million.
You must do better. Anyways.
Year just gone, 27 million.
Okay, right. That's what I'm saying.
27.5 million. Year just gone.
So here's the thing. See, I look at that just so you know. Okay, one of the things that a lot of people overlook is that the day-to-day foreign currency exchanges that occur between what you're doing in China and when it comes back to here and vice versa, Singapore, Hong Kong. The biggest, I wouldn't say fraud, but let's say the biggest way for you to get clipped as a businessman is in the foreign currency markets. It's like it's the Wild West there. Okay?
So now he's taking him in. So you can tell that he is in bank territory. Now, this business guy doesn't really know much. There's a difference between his now versus the that he was saying before, when he just fluffed like fluff.
Right.
Now he's saying That's different, okay? And it's like, okay, look, there's arbitrage that goes on in the currency markets. We are the bank guys. we know how to shave a little bit off here, shave a little off there, and we can get you this stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. And you know what we do, okay, is we'll sit you with cost of money. In other words, we don't mark up our trades. We're gonna basically buy and sell your money for you on the exchange in real time. Okay. And the amount of money that saves for you percentage-wise is staggering. Now, again, I'm not saying you're gonna make 10 million extra on your bottom line, but what it will show you on a very riskless way, it allows me to show you that when you say, hey, I'm doing it this way right now, and this guy came in with a very small transaction and showed me I could save literally 30 or 40% more, annually on this amount of money, that just shows you I'm a guy that knows what I'm doing. And after that, once I kind of earned your trust, then let's kind of talk bigger and better where I could really save you bigger money down the road. We could use that as a benchmark for future business. All that's for this. One shot, okay, let me just run 30 days hedging your money, show you how.
Get the point. 30 days. That's what he came here with. That was his tool. That was his ammunition. When he came in and he sat down and he said, look, I'd like to find out about your business. Let's talk about China and let's fumble the ball talking about Chinese culture. Bad move. And his bluff got called and he was able to run out of there real quick. And then, he has because he was like, the Chinese, they used to be down and now they're up. And, but let me change the subject real quick. So he's been doing all that. But the point is this, you usually have this one pitch. This is the point why it is easy, because there's a big claim. There is the asking of the question. You have to have a format for asking the question. There's a reason why he has that format, because it's effective and it keeps him focused.
That's right.
It keeps the thing on a straight line. It's not a random conversation. I'm trying to keep this conversation in a straight line where I say certain things and then say, is it fair enough? Like, why don't you just give me this chance? That's the emotional thing I'm trying to turn you over. That's why I call it like a jiu-jitsu match. I keep trying this thing and
to turn
same
you
move.
over.
I keep trying and trying. Now he's getting better, and we can all feel the difference now, right?
Right.
Now that he's in, like he's pushing, he's able to push that. The first time he said the whole 30 days, the guy said he doesn't care about it.
Right.
Literally. From I don't care about it, now he's actually listening to it. This just shows you the reality of what objections are. Objections are just words people say to block the real emotional reasons why they don't want to buy stuff.
How you can kind of navigate through the currency markets here in a more effective, elegant way, and believe you'll be very, very impressed.
Yeah, look, I mean, it sounds promising. I guess I'm just a little bit cautious. I don't know anything about your company. I don't know if you know.
Human reason, right? Go ahead and say something about what he's saying now, right?
Yeah, he's starting to confess. He says I'm cautious, so there's the emotional issue there, and I don't know anything about your company. So in other words, what the customer just did is he just basically reduced. I think he's feeling threatened by Jordan, so he's like, you know what, I'm going to reduce you a little bit, so I don't know anything about your company, and I am sure he has a very good comeback for that, because I think the customer knows that, oh, he's getting me cornered. And he said, well, I don't know anything about your company. So in other words, I need more, to really tell you what's going on, or for me to see if I'm going to go forward. But he does, he reduces the value of everything that he said by saying, I'm just being cautious. I don't know anything about your company. And I think he has a pretty good comeback. Those are my thoughts.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's continue and let's see how he comes back with this one, or for this one.
The farming industry is built very heavily on trust and loyalty. The banking relationship I have now has been built up over many years, plus legacy through the family. A lot of farmers get involved with new banks and new organisations, and they're with them through the good times, and then they ditch them during the bad times. So I don't know anything about you guys.
Let me ask you a question, honestly. If I've been your broker for the last 3 or 4 years, making you guys money on a consistent basis, I mean, let's say I ran, a couple years of hedging strategies for you, did some bond offerings for you, and kind of just did everything exactly right, you probably wouldn't be saying, let me think about it right now. You'd say, Jordan, just take over the hedge.
Right.
I like, one thing I want to say, he says, let me ask you a question. So every time.
Imagine if I go ahead.
Right. Every time during a sales pitch process, and you feel defeated, ask some new questions. Because he always, and even the way he says it, let me ask you a question. If you take note, and when he drops the pen on the paper, you could see he's almost getting upset, right? But that is his way of saying, all right, I'm going to be honest with you too. Let me ask you a question. So let's just say I was it. I did everything for you, and I got you all those millions. I mean, would that stop you from, saying, being so cautious? So now he's closed in and dropping the pen and kind of pulling in a little bit. You could tell he's ready to say, all right, let's just cut the crap. Okay.
This is what I call the "do you believe me?"
Right.
Close. Okay. There are not too many of these things. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, look, we're giving you this is not even master level game. This is PhD level game. Even though I hate that word game, this is PhD level game here, and there are not too many shapes in which this dance takes. Is basically one of the things that I want to go ahead and emphasize. Is what I've been emphasizing, that there's a pattern to this discourse here. Okay. And if you know the pattern, then you can do this thing. And then it just becomes a numbers game. Okay. So this whole thing about the do you believe me is another route to go. There is the puppy dog, which he did before. Right. The puppy dog is fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Now this other one is okay, cool. Like, look.
Right. Do you believe me?
Do you believe, come on. If I did all this stuff I just said, would there actually be a problem?
Right.
That's the way he's asking. The real question is, well, I don't really believe you're going to do those things you said, right? It's either you believe or the things I said is not valuable, in which case I need to find value again, right?
Right.
But I think I found value. I think I found value here. I found real dollars for you. Okay. Do you believe me? That's this move. And do you believe me is a bolder move. That's why he did that.
Right. That's why he puts the paper down. Right.
Exactly. Do you believe me is a bolder move. It's the kind of same thing happens in relationships and all these kinds of things. We know these patterns, right? These kind of negotiation tactics.
Am I right about that?
Look, if we had a relationship, yeah.
Of course, I get that. You don't know me, and I don't have the track record. So, kind of, let me just reintroduce myself.
Mention relationship again. He literally reintroduces himself now, right? So this guy mentioned relationship again. It's like, look, I don't really know much about your company. We are a medium company. We have grown together with our supply chain, most likely.
Right.
My brother-in-law does the finances. Okay.
My dad's
He
an
asked
advisor.
about whether they have a CFO. They don't even really have a CFO. So they're not very sophisticated, and they've expressed this kind of a thing. I don't really trust you, right? That is the real issue here.
Right.
This is what Jordan has. So this whole dance was to get to the point where, how do I break now the trust code?
Right.
Okay. And let's see how he does it. And again, the trust code is just another thing to melt away. There's no Rubik's Cube. There's no special combination. This is the point. It's not like, oh, you got to be smart. You have to have like 50 different combinations to break. It's like, no. It's just two mammals playing together.
To you a little bit, tell you about myself, what I stand for. Again, my name is Jordan Belfort, and I've been with LMK for about 6 years now. Okay, and I'm one of the top salesmen at the company, and I am a salesman, by the way. I pride myself on actually going out there and going after the people that I know I can help. Okay, but one thing I do is I put my clients' needs above everything else, and I work literally round the clock, tirelessly. I'm not an analyst, I'm not an investment banker. Okay, but I literally will go at it like I'm like a researcher of these people, and I will find the absolute best person in my stable. We have three areas of excellence, right?
Found something funny?
No, I just like the fact that he just says, all right, I gotta exaggerate. I'm gonna go big. I like the fact that he says I'm a salesman. In other words, I know that I'm trying to sell you something, and that's probably why, so let's just get that out of the way. And especially the fact that he takes himself and he, like you said, go big. He went big. He says, you know what, I'm the top, and I put you first. You're gonna be my everything. I just like that.
Fly and Amber, okay, says that Jordan sales is about information. Jordan Belfort has none. There's something that generally, and maybe Fly and Amber, you're doing this because when people type, you have to choose what you say. You can't, so he made that statement, but there's context behind it.
Right.
But here's the thing. You need to be able to recognize the strengths of people without, for example, I critiqued him like, look, I know that I'm way better at him in certain things, but that's not what this is about. With my things, in the way of structuring a conversation, in the way of technically closing somebody, and by the way of knowledge, yes, hands down, I'll beat him. But he is showing everybody that simple methodology of jiu-jitsu wrestling, going back and puppy dogging.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu wrestling, going back, puppy dogging. And now jiu-jitsu wrestling, going back and saying, do you believe me?
Right.
This is what we're learning, not whether or not he is Einstein of sales. That's not the
what
point.
He needs to do.
That's not the point. There's different animals here. No one ever accused him of being a brain surgeon.
Right? Banking, finance, and asset management, right? I would literally go and comb 3,500 employees to find the exact person that knows your business well, the exact program that best fits your needs. And I keep it simple. I'm here to not just put you into any program, but to hold your hand every step of the way, guide you in, guide you out, okay, a phone call away. And, as far as LMK goes, again, long-term relationships, that's all we've been built on. We're I think, the oldest or second oldest merchant bank in all of Australia, in business since 1886. So obviously we didn't get to where we are by burning our clients, okay, and we didn't get there by working on.
Yeah, he got kicked out of Wall Street. He had to go somewhere else. By the way,
15 or 30-day trials here, okay, and then saying see you later. Obviously, we have earned our clients' trust by being right, by being diligent, by not risking their money, okay, and by also being there when there is a problem. So again, all I'm asking for is this. Let me put it this way. What's the worst that can happen? Let's just say that
he's going to puppy dog again. This is the thing. This is the thing. Like, look, anybody can understand this kind of thing. So next time you're having an interview, next time you're going somewhere where you have to persuade someone of something, you're going to go for a review of your performance in the year, or you're actually going to give a pitch again, because look, if you're trying to advance in any career, you're going to need to communicate with human beings. Okay. You're going to need to influence them versus just pass messages around. If you're on the level of passing messages back and forth, you're not important. If you're the level of saying something to somebody so you can make them do something else, then you're important. That's the difference between the general and the grunt.
Influence.
Okay, the general gets to influence both internally and externally. He gets to it's all a sales job, right? So that's why anybody can look at this thing of, look, I need to get to state my intentions, have a big claim, and then ask them if they've seen enough to make a decision. And there are many ways of stating your big claim, okay? Many ways of stating your intention, and many ways of asking if they've seen enough to make a decision. One way which we've seen here so far is the puppy dog way of asking if they've seen enough to make a decision. Is it fair enough? Fair enough? And then we've seen the other way, which is, hey, do you even believe me? Like, if you believe half of the stuff I'm saying, would this even be a question? Right? But that's the same process he's going through. And then there's the fluff of asking questions and engaging. That's the dance that you do before you hold on to something, which is an objection that you find, and then you try to break the objection, melt it down the way. Dance again, find a realer objection. The point, the customer is getting worn down to the point where he's now more vulnerable. Rather than say he doesn't care about the market, he's now vulnerable now, telling him the real reason, which is, hey, I'm just a small guy. I don't really trust you guys.
Right.
That's the place you want to be.
That I'm wrong, right? Let's say you give me a month, okay, and we hedge. You know, we run $5 or $10 billion through a hedging strategy here, okay. And let's say at the end of the day, you don't make any more money. Let's say you lose 1 basis point on the whole thing. I'm wrong. You say, Jordan, you know, you're just full of it, didn't work, and you fire me. Is that going to put you in the poorhouse as a company? Honestly,
look, probably not. I mean, I have to see the numbers, but
no, it's not going to kill you, right? Right. And on the upside, let's say I am right, which I know I am, okay, and I can show you a 25% return, and you're like,
that's why it's a big claim, by the way. The claim has to be big. He says, let's say I'm right, which I know I am. Right. You don't pussyfoot around this part. When you're doing the pitch, which is this 3 things of here's my intention, here's my big claim. Have you seen enough to make a decision? You can't pussyfoot around it. Okay.
Right.
So while he's flailing in other parts, when he gets to this part, there's a system to it.
Right.
Like, Jesus Christ, this guy actually saved me, you know, $27,000 on a small amount of money. It's not going to make you the richest company in Australia, right? Right. Not going to make you rich, not going to make you poor. But it will serve as a benchmark for future business. Then you'll know you have a guy that knows what he's doing, okay? And from there, we can work bigger and better down the road. So all I'm asking for again is this: 1 shot, give me 30 days, okay? If I'm wrong, you fire me as your broker, okay? But if I'm right, not only am I going to want you to do bigger and better, but I'll put some referrals too, because that's my business truly grows. Does that sound fair enough? Give me a shot.
So look at
now, you notice is that fair enough? It's no longer a puppy. It's like, I know, look, does that sound fair enough? I mean, like, in other words, come on. I think you've heard.
We have cut through the crap long enough.
Right. And you've noticed the customer starts to lean forward into the frame, and Jordan remains now sitting in the back where the customer is the one leaning in. And you can look at that lady in the back right there. She's just there, just smiling like, hey.
Oh, you think, wow, okay.
Yeah.
How about the ladies in the chat? What do you think about the lady in the back? I think Dee's asking about it. You think Jordan Belfort is impressing her with his sleaziness?
I think she just smiles and says, he's got you. Because he got me. Watching him get you got me.
Anyways, let's see. This was his 3rd pitch. Okay, as you can see, we're towards the end of the video. Okay, and we're towards the end of landing this particular thing. Maybe next time, okay, we'll get people to come in. Okay, Fly and Amber, be back maybe next Thursday or maybe tomorrow's show. I may touch upon a subject that hinges upon something like this. But every Thursday, I can, third person. We talk about, geopolitical stuff, economic stuff, selling stuff, business stuff, the kind of thing, where the rubber meets the road, where the wallet gets dried up, whatever your analogy is, whatever. So next time we're able to bring you guys in, so you guys can give your pointers, the things that you do. You have this, and here's another thing too. There's a big funnel in sales. The people who are good at the top of the funnel are not necessarily the same people that are good at the bottom of the funnel. People who are good at the top of the funnel are relationship people. They know many people that have a big Rolodex. They're calling people. They know people's daughters' birthdays, all that kind of stuff, right? And then those people gets filtered down to some closer types and a different type of closer types. What you're seeing Jordan Belfort do here is just a basic attention, intention. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Okay, big claim. Have you seen enough to make a decision? He does the puppy dog close. He does it 3 times. Critiques, he should have started a long time ago. Another critique: stop saying BS that you don't know nothing about, like the culture in China. He got caught. He got caught red-handed with that one.
Hey, look at the smirk on his face, by the way.
The fact that, you know what's beautiful about the fact that even though he got caught, the fact that he was still able to kind of dive out, he immediately kind of got up like, yeah, I want to tackle this one. And then look up and look left and start spinning this crazy web about how China used to be. I'm like, hey, you got to give it to a guy who knows when he's been clipped.
That's right.
He's trying to come
he
out.
He reinvented himself 3 times.
3 times he gave the pitch. And let's see. Let's see what happens here.
It sounds interesting. Here's my concern.
Okay.
You know, so we get into business. Who else am I going to be dealing with? You're a big company. Am I going to always get you each time? I mean, you're going to bring in other product specialists.
A legit concern.
Right.
No, I know what it's like with bigger banks. That's why we prefer to keep with a small relationship bank. I don't want that hassle.
No, I totally get that. And by the way, just so you know, we have an interest. L&K is interesting for one sense, but we are a big bank. But we're not an ANZ or an NAB where it's so ridiculous and impersonal, okay? Where it's like, you know, you're dealing with 1,000 faces in the customers. You call the recording up and like press 1. Oh, yeah, we can call you between 12 and 12:01, right? It's not that, right? We're a merchant bank, and it's a bit different, which is more like a family banking model, which is why I really believe it fits so well with your business model, or the organics, right? Because we are an older line. We start off, in fact, in the cattle. We actually started off in commodities. That's why we built our business around commodities, and from there we went into banking.
We're just like you. We grew just like you.
Right. He's association.
Journey. We've taken you on. You know, we're not so different from you. This guy gave it an opposition of difference, right? An objection of difference. And this is a real one. Like, he's not dismissing this. This is a real human thing. He's seeing like, oh, this guy will fold if I'm just able to get in a circle, right? Somehow become accepted, right? And let's see.
As a result of the hedging. So that's why we're the #1 company about hedging and commodities, which is why I think it's a perfect fit. But in terms of me, you'll only be dealing with me. And if there's someone else I want you to.
And tell me if you got to leave, I thought, by the way, while we.
No. I just had a text. I just had to respond.
With me. In other words, if I say I got a guy who's has a new algorithm that's going to allow us to make an extra 7 basis points a month on the turn, I'm not going to say, hey, the guy's come with me. I'll have him come with me, or we can have dinner, whatever it might be. But it's not going to be 30 faces. There's going to be me and only someone else if I believe that person, okay, can help with the conversation. But if you only want to meet me, hey, we can just be the 2 of us. But again, all I'm asking for is this. I'm asking to get married right now, okay? I believe in starting small because I know I can prove myself to you. I mean, if I was here saying to you, I want all your business, fire Titan, do this, do that, right? You'd say, get the fuck out of here, right? Okay, but I'm not.
So Titan is his competitor. He mentioned the name of the competitor twice now in the conversation, and and I don't think that's too much. In other words, generally you don't want to necessarily say the name. You don't want to talk about your competitors. What do you think about that?
I think what I'm impressed with is just how he got 200% bolder and even used the profanity. And you could see his body language completely swings up. He's up and he's talking and I think that
and the lady is smiling and everybody.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's why I think he had the nerve to throw the competitor's name in there, because at this point he knew that, look, I'm in my element right now. He shed all the fluff. He's dropped the fluff. They're speaking to each other, man to man, business to business.
Let's see. I'm not gonna take over everything. I'm not gonna tell you to fire Titan. I'm not dealing with messing up your relationships.
It's
Give
gonna
me
be
a small chance here. It's 30 days. I know I can blow this stuff out the water. If half of the stuff I'm saying is true, why wouldn't you do it? Don't you believe me? Even if you don't believe me, what's there to lose? 30 days later, you fire me. Blah, blah, blah. It makes a compelling point.
It does.
I'm saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm confident if you just see a little bit of what I could do, we can use that as a benchmark to go forward. So again, I'm asking for 1 shot, 30 days, and believe me, you're going to be a client for life. Sound fair enough?
He did it 4 times. I thought he did it only 3 times.
That's how fair enough.
Okay, look. So now 4 times you guys have seen this pattern. You know this is not an idiot, right?
This is a professional.
Point being, it doesn't mean he's a brain surgeon. It just means that he's a professional.
That's
he
right.
knows what he's doing. He has a system. He's keeping the conversation down a particular line where he says certain things ends with a kind of a rapport, fair enough, puppy dog, mammalian thing that we've been seeing.
I think
all
to some
through.
degree,
And he slammed he slammed the paper this time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think to some degree he's allowing himself to lose to give the customer the opportunity to feel like they're in control. I think it's all strategy, in my opinion. I mean, in my observation as well.
Interesting. Well, let's the last pitch, which I did not notice, which I didn't know that he did. Let's hear this one more time.
The conversation, but if you only want to meet me, hey, we can just be the two of us. But again, all I'm asking for is this: I'm asking to get married right now. Okay, I believe in starting small because I know I can prove myself to you. I mean, if I was here saying to you, I want all your business fire tight and do this, do that, right? You'd say, get the fuck out of here, right? Okay, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm confident if you just see a little bit of what I could do, we can use that as a benchmark to go forward. So again, I'm asking for one shot, 30 days, and believe me, you're going to be a client for life. Sound fair enough?
Look, I have to see the numbers, but it sounds reasonable.
Perfect. So let's open up the account now. There we go. Okay. Okay.
That's it.
Well,
that was brilliant.
It was brilliant, and I want to know generally what people think about it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Okay, don't want the videos to go too long or whatnot, especially on topics like this where we say, "Hey, we're going to give you an idea of how something works, such as selling. Can Jordan Belfort actually sell? We're going to review a video. If it's a 2-hour video, it's like, people are not going to want to. It's like, okay, ideally, something like this should be like a 10-minute thing where I break down in bullet points, attention, okay, intention, big claim, ask for the sale, right? You want to break it down into quarters, blah, blah, blah. Here's the puppy dog method. Here's this other method. But the difference of doing it this way by seeing it build organically is we can all recognize what's going on. We can feel when he's in a bad spot. We can see him swim back in fluff to try to find something. First, he said, hey, let me talk about this kind of big picture stuff. I'll kind of be a consultant in all these different areas. And the guy was like, no, I don't really care about that. Then he's like, okay, let me give you my real pitch. Boom, 30 days in this market arbitrage type stuff. It's like, I don't care about that either. And then he went back swimming. He found cost. Okay. The guy said cost. And the guy said, look, we're a small company. And then he started grabbing those. He brought in his network thing and said, look, I understand we can make you grow. And then he pitched this one thing again. He didn't move away from his pitch when the guy was talking about cost and all these other things. He has one way in, and he knows this is the best way in. Give me 30 days to prove something, and then to serve as a benchmark for future business is the best way in. There's no other better way. So all those other things we may be talking about, consultative selling, and now we could do this for you, and we could connect you people with the right trucks in China. No matter how much I impress you with that or don't impress you, which, by the way, I know nothing about down there of that stuff. Jordan Belfort, that is, he's just talking. But really, all that is to get to the point again where I get to pitch again so that shall we say, objections can be melted away. Objections melt away layer by layer. They're not actually the reasons. The things that people tell you are not the reasons. The reasons are he's a small company. He doesn't trust these big people. We have relationships. We've grown up in a particular way. It's not that I don't care about that part of the market. And of course I want to grow too, but there's a certain amount of inertia you got to push me out of. And this is true in any sale. Final thoughts, sir.
Yeah. Well, for my final thoughts, I just want to say to everyone out there, selling is adaptive. You have to constantly re-evolve and reevaluate what's going on. You have to pay attention to your client. And if you look at what Jordan Bell does throughout the video, he never takes his eyes off the customer. He has no cell phone in sight. He doesn't look like he's interested in anything else. And when he's stuttering, he's almost stuttering on purpose. Sometimes I'll do that to myself. I'll say, well, what if we, and it allows the customer to look at me as, okay, you're human, right? So when you're selling, you have to be very comfortable. Like Ike says, you have to be the most comfortable person in the room. You have to be engaging, and whatever you do, of course, build your rapport, but don't think it has to be quick or has to be fast. I mean, it has to be a long-term process. Whatever it is, just make sure you build one. Look for common points, look for pain points, acknowledge anything that your client says. Oh, like he said with the accreditation, I know that had to be hard. When the client says something's hard, affirm that, validate that. That's, I could only understand, I could imagine. Oh, we've been around for 20 years, or even if they've been around for 3 years or 2 years, you could say something like, wow, that's great. Did you know that? Because, it's great considering that most businesses fail the first year. So always look for a way to get your client talking and listen. And like Ike says, go big and find opportunities to make a pitch every 5 minutes into the sale. So if it's 10 minutes, at least pitch 5 minutes into the sale. If it's 20 minutes, at least pitch 4 times. So go out there and sell, y'all.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And just so it's not just me saying that you have to say, make a big pitch and whatnot. Number one, we all kind of understand it. Okay. We understand in a mammalian way that BSing, bullshitting is something that we want to see in our salesperson. We want them to boldly push us off of our comfort zone. And it takes a little bit of BS to push us out of the comfort zone. So to close us out, I'm going to play, the 4 pitches that he made. And you'll notice each time it's about that big claim and saying, what do you have to lose? The puppy dog, fair enough. When somebody keeps repeating, blah, 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 fair enough. Why don't you try it next time? Next time you try to convince someone of something, go big and be like, pop, 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 pop. And all you got to do is X, Y, Z. Fair enough. And now the ball's in their court. And then they'll tell you, I don't really care about this stuff. And then take it, move, swim again, pitch again. The next time they give you an objection, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same thing as said before. If you're able to do the swim, if you don't completely sink. The first time he pitches, I believe, was at 10 minutes and 50 seconds. First critique, he should have done this a very, very long time prior. But let's go ahead and check him out over there. Like such.
Cost always in the end comes down to, but it's not just so much cost, it's also the value you get for the cost, right? Yeah. But one of the things we pride ourselves on,
10 minutes and 15
seconds. I want to go in there and give me a shot to beat it. Like, let me work, give me 30 days. I'll do my trade small, start small. Don't stop what you're doing. Put a small amount of your trades through me and then analyze in 30 days the percentage gain. And if I'm even half as good as I say, I believe you'll be moving all your business over to me.
Big claim. If I'm even half as good, start small.
Right.
Fair enough. Let's hear the fair enough.
That sound fair enough?
Okay. The second time, let's hear fair enough again.
See what I could do for you in 1 month, just small. You're not going to get rich or poor, but the percentage gain. Okay, you'll see you have a broker that was going to work for you, harder for you, more diligently than anyone ever has. And all I ask is that then, down the road, when I really kind of get into your business and see the bigger opportunities, you give me a shot bigger and better down the road. Does that sound fair enough?
Second time, that sound fair enough? Okay.
I knows what he's doing.
Let's hear it again.
Okay? And from there, we can work bigger and better down the road. So all I'm asking for again is this: 1 shot,
30 days.
30 days. Okay. If I'm wrong, you fire me as your broker. Okay. But if I'm right, not only am I going to want you to do bigger and better.
Simple. It's measurable. It's actionable. It's targeted. It's 30 days. It's this. It's that. You can't go wrong.
Right. That's my business truly grows. Does that sound fair enough? Give me a shot.
So look, it sounds interesting.
I want all your business fire tight and do this, do that, right? You'd say, get the fuck out of here, right? Okay, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm confident if you just see a little bit of what I could do, we can use that as a benchmark to go forward. So again, I'm asking for 1 shot, 30 days. And
you see? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've made our point. There is a system to this thing. It is not all just, he's a magician. He had this so much charisma. It was like, no, there's a system. He went in there to say those 3 things. Get the opportunity to say those 3 things as often as possible. Everything else is a jujitsu and fluff. I'm going to talk about Chinese culture and this and that. I'm going to talk about supply chain and trucks and blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm going to say how it was good that he won this, got the certification, that is. I'm going to feel his pain by telling him, hey, we started in agriculture too, and we're a small business. I'm going to open up when he says, hey, look, I'm going to play to his greed and say, hey, I'm going to take you from 50 million to 500 million. And you don't even have to do anything to the people whom took you from 0 to 50 million. I'm not messing up your relationships. Fair enough? Okay, so that is the game. You guys have learned something today, which is just this basic, simple vocal inflection. Give him a big claim. Give him a big claim. And then say, hey, fair enough? All right, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. We're out until next time. I'll be back tomorrow with MISC Fridays, but I'll be back again next Thursday. We're going to be elucidating something in the landscape of, again, economics, geopolitics, news, sales, business, and all that other good stuff.
Sweet.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Oh, shout out to the super chat, by the way. Missed the super chat over here. I had it on the screen, but I did not mention Nile Valley's finest. Nile Valley's finest. Your Royal Highness, coming from the line, the longest linus, like the lioness from the Zion. Nile Valley's finest. Can't say it twice, can't say it thrice, can't say it fast, but I'm a blast off the freestyle off the dome. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was a feeble attempt. We're out.
In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what dwells behind the curtain, the face of evil smirking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple, many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannons could breach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.